Assalamualaikum and hi, we are from Group 8. The group consists of 4 members. The first one is me, JAREN, AHMAD, AMEER, NURUL, AZIAH, and also myself, NURDINA, NABILAH. So today in this video, we will be talking about plants. First and foremost, we all know that we as human beings have a very good relationship with plants. How we provide carbon dioxide to the plants, while the plants provide us oxygen. Both of us gain good from the give and take, such as we use the gases to produce energy and also for breathing. Apart from that, we also know that plants have the ability to make their own food by using the sunlight. But have you ever think how did the plant distribute or move around their food to each part of it? Anyway, we are not going to talk much, but let's focus on this part of plant. Do you know what is this, and does it play an important role for the plant? Without leaving the question hanging, our friend JAREN is going to help us by explaining more about this part of plant, the function and also how it works.
Hi, I'm JAREN. Are you curious about what is happening inside a plant? So we can see there are particles moving up and down. This is what we call transport mechanism in plant. Vascular plants have vascular tissues which are xylem and phloem. So xylem is used for water transpiration, while phloem is what we want to focus today. Before we start, let us watch a short video.
Vascular tissue is phloem. Phloem transports carbohydrates and amino acids that are produced in the leaves to cells in the roots and stems where they are used and stored. Conduction in phloem is carried out through two kinds of elongated cells, sieve cells and sieve tube members. Most angiosperms contain sieve tube members. Both types of cells have clusters of pores known as sieve areas that are abundant on the overlapping ends of cells. These structures aid in the movement of carbohydrates, like sucrose, that are manufactured in the leaves and carried in the phloem throughout the plant, a process called translocation. Turgor pressure increases in the sieve tube members as sucrose from surrounding cells is brought into phloem through active transport. Water then enters phloem from xylem by osmosis, which drives the transport of carbohydrates in the phloem. Water movement in vessels is one way, while transport in sieve tube members can go in both directions. Water potential is an important driver in both xylem and phloem transport, but only phloem transport utilizes both active and passive transport.
That's why we have next section. The specialized cells making up xylem and phloem form a series of interconnected and parallel cells that form a pathway for the movement of water and carbohydrates in a plant. Xylem cells move water from the bottom to the top. Phloem cells can move sucrose and other materials in any direction. Phloem can travel in any direction, but these directions have a beginning which it travels from the source, where sugars originate, to the sink, where the sugars are unloaded. So now the question is, how does phloem cell move from the source to the sink? The translocation of the sugar can be explained using the pressure flow model. Photosynthesizing leaf make sugar, and that sugar is actively transported from cells in the leaf mesophyll into the sieve tubes of phloem. Active transport, or loading, of sugar into phloem is dependent on an electrochemical gradient established by a proton pump. Sugar is co-transported with hydrogen ions that are moving down their concentration gradient. Next, high concentration of sugar in the sieve tube cause water to flow in by osmosis. Just like turning the nozzle on a hose, there's an increase in positive pressure as water flows in. The sugar solution, under massive pressure at the source, is forced to move by backflow to areas of low pressure at the sink. This highlights where the pressure flow model got its name, and indeed, phloem has been measured moving at a velocity of 1 meter an hour. The same distance with passive diffusion would take 30 years. When the sugar arrives at the root, it is transported out of sieve tubes into the root cells. There, The sugar is used for cellular respiration or other metabolic processes. The high concentration of sugar in the root cells causes water to follow by osmosis, where it is later reclaimed by the xylem tissue.
For the first question, what is the function of phloem sap?
It will translocate products of photosynthesis, which is the nutrients or sugars, from the leaves to other parts of the plant.
So, if the phloem of the plant is extracted for medical purposes, will it interrupt the sugar transport and cause the plant to die?
If the phloem is removed, and that will cause the transportation of the substances to stop, and the plants wouldn't get the needed nutrients for it to carry out its processes, and eventually will cause the plants to die.
Can you give some explanation about the extraction?
For easy understanding, extraction is actually a process where you want to separate the medicinally active compounds in the plant to be formulated into the medicine. So there are several methods which are commonly used. We have maceration. We also have decoction, infusion. So I'll explain a little bit about maceration. So maceration involves in soaking the plant material in a stopper container with a solvent, which normally we will use EDTA, and we will allow the plant to be dissolved in the solvent for a few days. So basically, this process is intended to soften and also break the plant cell wall to release the soluble phytochemicals, which will give us the benefits, medicinal benefits. Yeah.
Can you give me some example plants that commonly used in medical field?
I can name a few medicinal plants that are commonly used in Malaysia. We have aloe vera, we have ginkgo biloba. We also have tea tree oil, lavender, chamomile, and etc. Just to name a few.
So how is actually the phloem sap processed into medicine?
Well, sometimes the compounds that has the medicinal properties can be found in the phloem of the plant. So these compounds could be alkaloids, terpenoids, or can also be coumarin. So when the phloem are extracted and incorporated during the formulation of a medicine, so this will give the medicinal properties such as anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, and also antifungal. So actually the compounds that I mentioned before, the alkaloids, that is the compound that will give us the medicinal benefit, which can be found inside the phloem.
So, for conclusion, the phloem plays a major role in the translation of nutrients, water, energy, and signal molecules from the source, which is leaf, to the sink, which is shoots and roots in the plants. The phloem sap contains high quantities of sugars, amino acids, vitamins, and organic and inorganic acids. Sugars and amino acids are the major components of the phloem sap. Because the phloem sap is rich with in nutrients and free of feeding deterrents and toxins, it is exclusively consumed by many phloem sap feeding insects such as aphids. So with this natural phloem tapping system, scientists also they also take this opportunity to analyze the phloem reached by anesthetizing a drinking aphid, removing its body, and using the inserted stylet, which is like a needle-like mouth part to collect the phloem. Besides, based on the interview that attached, people could extract this phloem sap with this kind of method to be used in any terms like in making medicine, skincare products, and for consumption in cooking like syrups. Hence, phloem sap is not just a critical component for plants, but it is also in other living things. It is also significant for other living things like humans and animals. That's all from us. Thank you for listening.